Failure. The word itself sends a shiver down your spine, doesn't it? It's a word that carries weight, shame, and fear. A word that society has conditioned us to avoid at all costs. But what if I told you that failure isn't the monster you've been taught to fear? What if I told you that failure is the very key to unlocking your potential, the secret ingredient to your success? Today, I'm going to show you why everything you've been told about failure is wrong, and how this one shift in perspective will change your life forever. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from trying something new because of the fear of failing? How many dreams have you buried because you were terrified of the judgment, the whispers, or even your own inner voice saying you're not good enough? We've all been there, but here's the truth. Failure is not the end. Failure is the beginning. The world's most successful people didn't avoid failure. They embraced it. They stumbled, they fell, and they got back up. And every time they did, they learned something new. They grew stronger, smarter, and more resilient. Do you know why? Because failure isn't a dead end. It's a detour to something greater. In this video, I'm going to take you on a journey to redefine what failure really means. You'll learn why failure is not the opposite of success, but a part of it. You'll discover the hidden lessons buried within every setback and how they can propel you toward greatness. By the end of this video, you'll see failure not as a curse, but as a gift. One that most people are too afraid to open. And imagine living a life where failure no longer scares you, where you can take risks, dream big, and pursue your goals without the weight of fear holding you back. That's what this video is about. It's about giving you the tools to look failure in the eye and say, "You don't control me, I control you." And here's the best part. The moment you change how you see failure, you change how you see yourself. You stop defining your worth by your mistakes and start recognizing your strength in overcoming them. You stop running from challenges and start embracing them. But stay with me, because the insights I'm about to share aren't your typical cliches about getting back up when you fall. These are hard-earned truths from the lives of people who faced failure head-on and came out victorious. These are lessons you won't find in the pages of self-help books or motivational quotes on social media. This isn't just a video, it's a wake-up call. It's a reminder that you're capable of more than you think, and that the only thing standing between you and your dreams is your fear of failing. Together, we're going to shatter that fear. So if you've ever felt like failure was the end of your story, think again. It's time to rewrite that story. It's time to see failure for what it truly is, the greatest teacher you'll ever have. Let's get started. Most people grow up believing that failure and success are two separate paths, polar opposites that cannot coexist. But what if that belief is wrong? What if failure isn't the enemy of success, but its most crucial partner? You see, success isn't a straight line. It's messy, unpredictable, and often paved with moments that feel like defeat. Those moments, those so-called failures, are not the end of the road. They are part of the journey itself. Every setback you face holds a lesson, a hidden opportunity to grow. When you stumble, it forces you to evaluate what went wrong. It pushes you to ask questions, to reflect, to analyze. This process sharpens your skills, strengthens your resolve, and ultimately prepares you for what lies ahead. Without failure, there would be no progress. Without mistakes, there would be no learning. Think about a toddler learning to walk. They fall countless times before they take their first step. Yet no one sees those falls as failures. We see them as progress. We cheer them on because we know that every fall brings them closer to standing tall. So why, as adults, do we stop allowing ourselves to fall? Why do we let the fear of failure paralyze us? Some of the most celebrated successes in history were born out of failure. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 1,0,0,0,0 ways that won't work." Every time one of his experiments didn't yield the desired result, he learned something new. Each failure was a stepping stone, a critical piece of the puzzle that eventually led to the invention of the light bulb. Imagine if he had given up after the first 100 or even the first 1,000 attempts. Failure also has a way of humbling us reminding us that we don't have all the answers. It strips away the illusion of perfection and forces us to grow. When you experience failure, you're faced with a choice: to give up or to try again, this time armed with the knowledge you didn't have before. That choice is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. The truth is, every great accomplishment is built on a foundation of failures. Each setback, each misstep, is like a brick in the wall of your eventual success. Without those bricks, the wall would crumble. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about building with it, using it as a tool to strengthen your foundation. Failure is not a destination. It's a teacher, a guide that pushes you toward the version of yourself you were always meant to become. It's not there to stop you. It's there to shape you. The sooner you embrace that, the sooner you'll realize that every setback has been setting you up for something far greater than you ever imagined. Every failure carries a lesson, but it's up to you to find it. Failure is not just a moment of defeat. It's a mirror, reflecting what went wrong and where you can improve. It forces you to look deeper, to examine your actions, your decisions, and even your mindset. It challenges you to grow in ways that success never could. Success, after all, often validates what you already know, while failure reveals what you still need to learn. Each failure is unique. No two mistakes are ever exactly the same, and neither are the lessons they bring. One failure might teach you patience, showing you the value of timing and preparation. Another might teach resilience, pushing you to develop the strength to keep moving forward despite setbacks. And some failures might reveal blind spots, areas in your life or skills you didn't even realize needed attention. These lessons are gifts, even if they don't feel that way at the moment. Consider this: every great athlete, artist, or entrepreneur has faced failure, often repeatedly. They didn't get to where they are by avoiding mistakes. They got there by learning from them. They viewed their failures not as the end of the road, but as a chance to improve, to refine their craft, and to come back stronger. They understood that each failure wasn't a step back, it was a step forward disguised as a challenge. When you start to see failure as an opportunity, everything changes. Suddenly, a missed goal becomes a chance to reassess your strategy. A rejection becomes an invitation to build something better. Even moments of complete collapse can become the foundation for something extraordinary, if you're willing to dig deep and uncover the lesson hidden within. The truth is, failure forces you to confront your weaknesses. And while that might sound harsh, it's actually one of the greatest gifts you can receive. Because once you identify your weaknesses, you can work on them. You can turn them into strengths. You can transform the very things that held you back into the tools that propel you forward. Think of failure as a feedback loop. It's not there to break you, it's there to guide you. It's like a compass, pointing you in the direction you need to go, to grow, to adapt, and to become better than you were before. And the best part? Each failure teaches you something new. Something you can carry with you into the future. It adds to your toolkit, making you more prepared for whatever challenges come next. So when you fail, and you will, because failure is inevitable, don't let it define you. Instead, let it teach you. Look for the lesson, no matter how small, and let that lesson be your guide. The more you do this, the less afraid you'll be of failing, because you'll know that every failure brings with it the possibility of growth. And that's where real success begins. Stepping outside your comfort zone is one of the hardest things to do. Yet it's where real growth begins. The comfort zone feels safe, predictable, and familiar. But it's also a place where progress stalls, where potential is left untapped. Growth doesn't happen when you're doing what you've always done. It happens when you take risks, face uncertainty, and push yourself into the unknown. When you engage in activities that challenge you, you activate parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. You develop new skills, build resilience, and uncover strengths that were hidden beneath the surface. The discomfort you feel isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're stretching, that you're becoming more than you were before. Think about the first time you tried something new. Whether it was learning to ride a bike, speaking in front of an audience, or starting a new job, there was probably a moment of fear or hesitation. But once you pushed through, you grew. You became better, more confident, more capable. That's the power of stepping into discomfort. It forces you to rise to the occasion. Discomfort also has a way of sharpening your focus and driving your motivation. When you're outside your comfort zone, you can't rely on autopilot. You have to pay attention, adapt, and think creatively. This heightened state of awareness pushes you to perform at your best and opens up possibilities you wouldn't have seen otherwise. And here's the thing. The more you practice stepping outside your comfort zone, the less intimidating it becomes. Over time, what once felt impossible starts to feel natural. Your comfort zone expands, and you realize you're capable of far more than you ever imagined. Engaging in challenging activities also builds mental toughness. It teaches you how to handle adversity and bounce back from setbacks. Each time you push through discomfort, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your fears. This creates a ripple effect, boosting your confidence in other areas of your life as well. It's important to understand that growth is not supposed to feel easy. If it did, everyone would do it. But that's precisely why stepping outside your comfort zone is so powerful. It sets you apart. It's the path less traveled, and it's where the most significant transformations happen. So when you feel that nervous energy, that knot in your stomach, telling you something is uncomfortable, don't run from it, lean into it. Let it guide you. Because every time you face discomfort head on, you're not just building skills or overcoming challenges, you're building the person you're meant to become. Failure is a universal experience, but some of the most successful people in history turn their biggest failures into their greatest achievements. Their stories aren't just inspiring, they're proof that persistence through failure is often the key to success. Take Thomas Edison, for example. Before he invented the light bulb, he faced over 1,000 failed attempts. Most people would have given up after a handful of failures. But Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." Each attempt brought him closer to the solution, and his persistence illuminated the world, literally. Then there's J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before becoming one of the best-selling authors in history, she faced rejection after rejection. 12 publishers turned her down, telling her that her story wasn't marketable. At the time, she was a single mother living in poverty, but she didn't stop writing. Her determination eventually paid off, and her books went on to inspire millions of readers worldwide. Walt Disney's story is another powerful example. Before building his empire, Disney was fired from a newspaper job because his boss said he lacked imagination and creativity. He also faced financial ruin multiple times, with several of his ventures failing before he found success. But instead of giving up, he used those failures as fuel to create the world's most beloved entertainment brand. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, also knew failure intimately. He was cut from his high school basketball team, a moment that could have shattered his. Instead, it motivated him to work harder than ever before. He once said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times, I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Even Oprah Winfrey, now a global icon, faced significant setbacks early in her career. She was once told she was unfit for television and fired from her job as a news anchor. But instead of letting that failure define her, she persisted. She carved out her own path, transforming into one of the most influential figures in media history. These stories aren't just anecdotes, they're lessons. They show us that failure isn't the end of the road. It's a detour, often leading to destinations more incredible than we ever imagined. What sets these individuals apart is their refusal to let failure stop them. Instead, they use their setbacks as opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. Through their persistence, they turned obstacles into stepping stones, proving that success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about embracing it, learning from it, and continuing to move forward. The concept of a growth mindset is one of the most powerful ideas you can embrace in your journey towards success. At its core, a growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence are not fixed. They can be developed over time with effort, learning, and persistence. This belief shifts the way you approach challenges. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, you begin to view them as opportunities for growth. When you have a growth mindset, you understand that failure isn't a reflection of your capabilities, but rather a part of the learning process. It's not about being perfect from the start. It's about improving step by step. This mindset frees you from the fear of making mistakes because you realize that mistakes are simply feedback. They show you where you need to adjust, try a new approach, or put in more practice. Believing that you can develop your skills leads to a powerful shift in how you approach challenges. When faced with a difficult task, instead of retreating or feeling defeated, you lean into the discomfort. You're no longer intimidated by a challenge, you're excited by it, because you know that each time you stretch yourself, you grow. You begin to believe that with enough effort and perseverance, you can learn and master anything. This is why the growth mindset is so crucial. It transforms failure into a stepping stone, not a setback. If you believe that your abilities are malleable, you're more likely to take risks, try new things, and push through the difficult times. The key to success is not avoiding challenges, but embracing them, knowing that with each challenge, you become stronger, more skilled, and more capable. When you believe in your ability to improve, you approach every task with a sense of curiosity and determination. Whether you're learning a new skill, tackling a difficult project, or trying something completely out of your comfort zone, you are driven by the belief that effort will lead to progress. It's this mindset that separates those who succeed from those who give up when things get tough. The growth mindset is also about resilience. It's about bouncing back from failure and using it as motivation to keep going. Instead of viewing setbacks as signs of inadequacy, you start to see them as opportunities to learn, refine, and grow. When you truly believe that you can develop your abilities, you no longer fear failure. You welcome it, knowing that every challenge is a chance to improve. It's a mindset that allows you to view the world differently, to see challenges not as threats, but as invitations to expand your limits. The moment you embrace this mindset, you unlock the potential to do things you once thought impossible. You begin to see failure not as an end, but as an essential part of your journey toward mastery. Failure is not something to be feared or avoided. It's a natural part of the learning process, something every single one of us encounters on the path to growth. Yet, so often we view failure as a reflection of our worth or abilities, as though it's a permanent mark on our record. This perspective creates fear, and that fear holds us back. But what if failure wasn't something to be ashamed of? What if it was a stepping stone, a signal that you're on the edge of growth? Every time you fail, you're presented with an opportunity to learn. Failure gives you clarity. It shows you what works and what doesn't. It highlights the gaps in your understanding and gives you the chance to fill them. When you begin to see failure in this light, it loses its power to intimidate you. It becomes less about falling short and more about finding your way forward. Changing your perspective on failure can transform how you approach challenges. Instead of avoiding situations where failure is possible, you start to embrace them. You begin to understand that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of the journey. Each setback is a lesson, each mistake a teacher. The sooner you internalize this, the freer you become to take risks, to try, and to grow. This shift in mindset also builds resilience. When you stop fearing failure, you stop hesitating. You step into situations with the understanding that no matter what happens, you'll come out stronger. You'll adapt, you'll adjust, and you'll keep moving forward. This resilience becomes a cornerstone of success because it's not about avoiding failure, it's about how you respond to it. Think of failure as a mirror. It reflects back to you the areas that need work, the habits that need changing, and the skills that need refining. It doesn't define you, it guides you. When you start to see it this way, you no longer fear the reflection. You welcome it, knowing that it's part of your evolution. By changing how you perceive failure, you also reduce the pressure to be perfect. Perfection is an illusion that only creates anxiety. But when you accept that mistakes are inevitable, you free yourself to take bold action. This freedom fosters creativity, innovation, and courage. You stop worrying about falling short and start focusing on what you can achieve. The truth is, failure is unavoidable. It happens to everyone, no matter how talented or prepared they are. What sets people apart is how they view it. If you can look at failure and see a chance to improve, it becomes a tool rather than a threat. It becomes something you can work with, not something to fear. Handling failure constructively isn't about pretending that it doesn't hurt or that it's easy. It's about taking a step back, acknowledging what happened, and then using it as a tool for growth. One of the first steps in dealing with failure is to avoid the impulse to react emotionally or impulsively. It's natural to feel frustration or disappointment, but letting those feelings control you only prolongs the process of moving forward. Instead, take a moment to pause. Give yourself time to breathe and reflect before making any decisions or judgments about the failure. Once the initial emotions settle, it's crucial to reflect on what went wrong. Ask yourself some key questions. What did I learn from this experience? Where did things fall apart? And what could I have done differently? This reflection isn't about self-criticism. It's about understanding the situation more clearly. Look at the failure as an objective event, not as a judgment of your abilities. Break it down. What were the key factors? Were there specific mistakes or oversights? This process of inquiry will help you identify patterns or behaviors that need adjustment. It's also helpful to shift your focus from what didn't work to what you can do better next time. Failure doesn't have to be a dead end. It can be a valuable learning opportunity. Think about the skills, knowledge, or resources that you might need to improve in order to succeed next time. For example, if you failed at a task because you didn't have enough knowledge or practice in a certain area, recognize that you now have a clear area to focus on. Consider how you can build those skills moving forward, whether it's through further study, more practice, or seeking guidance from others. Another important tip is to keep a growth journal. After each failure, write down what happened, what you learned, and how you plan to improve. This allows you to track your progress over time and see how far you've come. It also helps to solidify the lessons learned, ensuring that you don't repeat the same mistakes. Reflecting on failures in this way not only makes the experience constructive, but also gives you a sense of ownership over your growth. As you reflect, it's important to reframe your thoughts. Instead of viewing failure as something personal, remind yourself that it's a normal part of success. Even the most accomplished individuals have faced setbacks. What separates them from others is their ability to keep going, to learn, and to adapt. By reframing failure in this way, you stop seeing it as a reflection of your inadequacy and start seeing it as a step toward mastery. Lastly, use failure as a way to build resilience. The more you reflect on failures and learn from them, the more you strengthen your ability to handle future setbacks. You develop a mental toughness that prepares you for bigger challenges ahead. Embrace failure not as something to fear, but as a teacher that helps you grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. Accepting failure isn't just about managing disappointment. It's about using that failure as a catalyst for growth. When you truly embrace failure, you unlock the potential for deep personal and professional development. This acceptance frees you from the grip of perfectionism and fear, allowing you to approach challenges with a mindset of exploration rather than dread. You stop seeing failure as a dead end and begin to see it as a stepping stone to something greater, a necessary part of the journey toward success. One of the most powerful ways failure leads to growth is through the lessons it offers. Every setback carries with it a lesson that you can apply moving forward. These lessons aren't always immediately clear, but with time and reflection, you begin to see how failure refines you. It forces you to reconsider your approach, develop new skills, and become more adaptable. As you face failure and learn from it, you grow not just in knowledge, but in your ability to persevere, adapt, and innovate. In fact, embracing failure can make you more innovative. When you stop fearing failure, you become more willing to take risks and explore new ideas. Innovation is born from trial and error, from pushing boundaries and testing limits. Those who are afraid to fail tend to play it safe, sticking to what they know. But those who welcome failure are constantly looking for ways to improve, create, and try new things. Failure teaches you to experiment, to think outside the box, and to find creative solutions when things don't go as planned. Professionally, this mindset can be a game changer. In many industries, the most successful individuals are those who aren't afraid to take chances, even at the risk of failure. When you embrace failure, you stop being paralyzed by the fear of making mistakes, and instead you focus on how to learn and move forward. This makes you more resilient, more capable of handling setbacks, and ultimately more successful in the long run. This resilience is not just about bouncing back after a failure. It's about becoming stronger because of it. Each time you face a setback and accept it as part of the process, you build mental and emotional toughness. You develop a sense of determination that allows you to push through obstacles with confidence. Rather than avoiding failure, you start to see it as a valuable teacher that prepares you for future challenges. This resilience creates a positive feedback loop, where each failure builds your capacity to handle the next, making you more equipped to navigate the complexities of personal and professional life. Ultimately, accepting failure is not just about becoming more successful, it's about becoming a better, more capable version of yourself. It develops your character, strengthens your problem-solving abilities, and deepens your resilience. Those who embrace failure are often the ones who go on to achieve the greatest success, because they've learned that the road to achievement is never a straight line. It's a winding path filled with setbacks that are as crucial to success as the victories themselves. Now that you understand how failure can be a powerful tool for growth, it's time to apply these insights to your own life. Every time you face a setback, instead of dwelling on the frustration, take a step back and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What does this experience have to teach me? The key is shifting your perspective, recognizing that each failure holds the potential for improvement and personal growth. When you start seeing failures as opportunities rather than obstacles, you begin to unlock your true potential. Each time something doesn't go according to plan, it's not a reflection of your abilities, but an opportunity to refine your approach. Don't shy away from challenges, and don't let fear of failure stop you from pursuing what you really want. Instead, lean into those moments with the mindset that there's always something to gain. Whether it's learning a new skill, improving your decision-making, or simply building resilience, there's always value in the lessons failure provides. Remember, failure doesn't define you, it teaches you. Every time you fall short, you gain clarity. You learn what doesn't work, what needs to be adjusted, and how to make better choices moving forward. The more you apply this mindset, the more you'll find that failure becomes less intimidating. You'll start approaching challenges with confidence, knowing that no matter the outcome, you'll come out stronger and wiser. You can also start embracing failure by taking more risks in your life. Don't limit yourself by sticking only to what feels comfortable or familiar. Step outside your comfort zone, try things that scare you, and don't be afraid to fail. Every time you take that leap, you'll grow and develop, and with each failure, you'll build the foundation for success. It's through these experiences that you'll learn what works best for you and discover paths you never considered before. Applying these insights means becoming more compassionate with yourself when things don't go as planned. Don't be so quick to judge yourself harshly. Instead, use every failure as a reason to improve, to keep pushing forward, and to believe in your ability to succeed. The key to overcoming setbacks isn't in avoiding them, but in accepting them and learning from them. Embrace the growth that comes from failure, and you'll begin to see your life and your potential in a whole new light. We've explored how failure is not the opposite of success, but an essential part of the journey. By viewing failure as a stepping stone, we can turn setbacks into powerful learning opportunities. Each failure teaches us valuable lessons, sharpening our skills and pushing us to grow. Stepping outside of our comfort zones, embracing discomfort, and being willing to fail are all critical for personal and professional growth. We've seen how well-known individuals have turned failures into successes through persistence, and how adopting a growth mindset can fuel innovation and resilience. Ultimately, by changing how we view failure, we unlock our full potential and become better equipped to face challenges head-on. Remember, failure isn't something to fear. It's an opportunity to grow, learn, and ultimately achieve more. So take these insights, apply them in your own life, and watch how they transform your approach to setbacks. If you found value in this message, don't forget to like and subscribe for more empowering content. Your growth starts now.